What's up guys, my name is Ace, and we're just a few days away from the launch of Modern Warfare 2, and today we got a blog post just outlining a lot of the things we can expect to see at launch. Unfortunately, this doesn't really outline many changes from the beta till launch. Perhaps there's going to be another blog post with more details on that. I was really hoping to see that today. But instead, this is just a general overview of what we can expect with very little new information. But we did learn at least a couple new things with this blog post. And diving right in, the first thing they outlined here are all of the game modes that are going to be available at launch. And for 6v6 game modes, we're going to have free-for-all, team deathmatch, domination, hardpoint, headquarters, control, prisoner rescue, knockout, and search and destroy. So a lot of these standard modes that we would definitely expect to be there at launch. However, there is one key mode that's missing from this list that we normally expect at launch, and this is kill confirmed. However, they did have some images with dog tags on the ground, likely teasing kill confirmed, and this is in the section where they mentioned that there will be featured game modes coming regularly and they will be changing often. So it looks like kill confirmed may now be a featured mode, or who knows, they may end up adding it permanently. Sometimes those feature modes end up sticking with the game permanently if they're really well received. I just think it was a bit strange for them to not include kill confirmed as a base mode. As for the next thing on this blog post that I find to be kind of hilarious, it looks like they're renaming Hardcore to Tier 1. That is the new name for hardcore game modes, and they describe this as a designator for the playlist that offers a more challenging experience compared to traditional multiplayer. And then they describe the changes here, which are basically just hardcore changes. So there's less health, limited heads-up display elements, and friendly fire is on. So Tier 1 is the new name for hardcore game modes. And I just find it kind of funny, but also unfortunate that they label this as a more challenging experience compared to traditional multiplayer, because that's not the case at all. Sure, hardcore game modes require a different set of skills to succeed, but overall, core game modes require a better balance of skills, and that's the reason that at the most competitive levels of play, we use a core rule set, not a hardcore rule set. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with liking hardcore game modes, but it's just that delusion that I feel they're feeding into, that somehow hardcore game modes are the superior, higher skilled modes or more challenging modes to play compared to core. For most people, hardcore game modes are always just the place where people go for easy challenge completion, for specific challenges, or for certain weapons that just don't perform well in core modes. At the end of the day, it's pretty inconsequential. This is literally just a name change from hardcore to Tier 1. I just thought the little explanation in the blog post was kind of funny and completely backwards. As for the next thing they outlined in their blog post, this is perk packages, which appear to not really be changing, at least not significantly from the beta. So it's going to be the same story. You get 2 base perks that you immediately spawn in with right at the beginning of the game. You don't need to charge them up or earn them over time. And all of those perks are exactly the same perks as the beta. Then with our bonus perks, we earn those a little bit into the match. They didn't outline the time requirement, so I don't know if this changed at all from the beta, if they're using the first weekend values or the second weekend values or new values entirely. But you do have to charge up your bonus perk as well as your ultimate perk, which you're going to be getting later than the bonus perk. And the only change that's outlined in this blog post to the perk system is something that we already discovered last week with Campaign Early Access, where we were able to get into some of the menus and see some stuff. This is, they have swapped Hardline and Quick Fix. So in the beta, Quick Fix was a bonus perk and Hardline was an ultimate perk. Now they're swapped, so you get Hardline as a bonus perk and Quick Fix as an ultimate perk. And with this, I was pretty disappointed to see that they didn't make any noticeable changes to the perk system as far as we can tell. We still have to charge up those bonus and ultimate perks, which I think is an inherently flawed system. I've talked about this a bunch in my beta review videos, and I made a dedicated video on this as well. I think it's change for the sake of change, and it just introduces new problems that didn't exist with the previous system that nobody seemed to really have an issue with. But at the same time, I wasn't really expecting to see a change here. It was just a hope that I had, knowing full well that it wasn't likely to be changing. Now, they did mention, at least in the blog post, that these are just how things are going to work at launch, and there is going to be room for change post-launch, so maybe there still will be a perk update down the road, but at least at launch, it's pretty much the same stuff from the beta. Then getting into field upgrades, there's not too much to say here because it's the exact same field upgrades that we had access to in the beta. It looks like no changes whatsoever here. Although when we gained access to the menus last week, it looks like they may have changed some of the charge rates for these field upgrades, but that wasn't mentioned at all in this blog post. And unfortunately, it's the same story with score streaks and kill streaks. Nothing has changed here according to this blog post. We have all of the exact same score streaks and all of the exact same earn rates and values. So it takes the exact same number of kills or score. They didn't make any adjustments at all from the beta. So that means they really didn't hold anything back for the beta build of the game when it comes to these streaks. And that's kind of strange because normally with Call of Duty, they don't show us all of the streaks at once in the beta build of the game. They try to keep some stuff under wraps so we can be sort of surprised and excited at launch. But it looks like no changes and no additions to the kill streak / score streak system. Then they just go on to describe the swimming mechanics a little bit. It doesn't seem like those have changed at all from the beta, so you can swim in the game, you can go underwater, you can shoot with a pistol underwater, but not a primary weapon. And then they also describe ledge hanging, which is, again, a mechanic we had full access to in the beta build of the game. And that's pretty much it. That is the blog post that we got today, just outlining what to expect. I think this is more designed for the people that didn't play the beta or didn't participate in the beta, because, like I said, there's not really a whole lot of new information here for those of us that keep track of the news when it comes to Call of Duty. So with that in mind, I'm really hoping we're still going to be getting a good detailed like patch notes style blog post from individual items that changed from beta till launch, because, well, none of these higher level things have really changed. Like, we have all the same score streaks, all the same field upgrades and everything, and they really didn't change perks around much. I'm sure they at least made some more minor changes, like weapon balancing changes, footstep audio changes. They actually mentioned they would be making some adjustments to footstep audio after the beta. I'd also like to hear some news on the Dead Silence field upgrade to see if they listened to any feedback on that, to maybe not have the Dead Silence field upgrade, which is supposed to be designed for stealth, give off a really loud beeping sound every time you activate it to make sure everyone in the area knows that you're going to be stealthy now. Like I said, while I don't expect any major changes from beta to launch, there's still got to be a good handful of little things that they've made adjustments to, and I want to see what those little things are. So here's to hoping we'll see that at some point between now and launch. But as of right now, this is all we've got, and this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. What do you guys think about the things that were outlined in today's blog post? Even though it wasn't a whole lot, what do you think about the fact that Kill Confirmed isn't going to be there at launch, and instead it looks like it's going to be a featured game mode? What do you think about the name change and the description for hardcore game modes now being called Tier 1 and being referred to as more challenging than traditional multiplayer? What do you think about the lack of changes to perks and score streaks and field upgrades? And what are some of the main things that you hope have changed from beta till launch? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.